All right, Shalom. Like start up by saying Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harikah Kwadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and my elder Heroine as well. Salutations to the Archman that puts in his truth, sincerity, and truth, and peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Chanak Sa'an Ban Yashar Allah from the Lions in the Yashar Allah camp. And this is a continuation of the Purim lesson I was doing. It's a little late, got a little behind on schedule, but this is a continuation of that. Lord willing's lesson to edify and serve the purpose for the hopeful elect, the ones that truly believe in the name of Yahweh by Shem Shai. All right, so the first lesson we went over how Esther replaced how Xerxes did away with Vashti and replaced her with Esther, and there is a reason for that. And this is getting into the reason that was to happen. It was all divine intervention. All right. So now we're in chapter 3. So we went over chapters 1 and 2, I think. Now we're in Esther chapter 3, and the header on Esther's chapter 3 says Haman's plot against the Jews. All right. So keep that in mind. We're going to go into who Haman is and how far back this feud or this hatred grows. All right. All right. So remember we read the scripture that was said the enemies of the Jews. Or did we get that one yet? All right, not yet. We're getting into that, all right? And we all know who our enemy is, all right? All right. This is Esther 3:1. It says, after these things did King Ahasuerus, Xerxes, promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. All right. So we're going to understand who this guy Haman is. And the Agagites, recently found this out, are Edomites. All right. The elder went into a breakdown on them being Edomites, and we're going to get that too. All right. It says, all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. All right. It says, but Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. All right. So now Mordecai was Esther's uncle, and he wasn't bowing down to Haman the Edomite. All right. It says, then the king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand. For he had told them that he was a Jew, all right, and we don't bow to nobody but Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Verse 5, Shlaki, it says, and when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath, and he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of the Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. See that? See that? Who does that sound like? That perpetual hatred. All right. It says, in the first month, that is the month Nasin, that's the Assyrian thing for Abyabah, which would be a bib. All right. It says, in the fifth, matter of fact, what does that mean? Shock you real quick. All right. All right. Yeah. So that's the month of the Passover. All right. It says, in the 25th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast that's what Purim means. Pawarium. All right. It's to cast lots. All right. So what you're gonna find out is they were casting lots on Israel, right? But Yahweh Shem Shai already had that lot cast to deliver Israel. Okay. It says, in the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of the king Ahasuerus, they cast pour, that is the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. All right. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, this is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people, right? Because the laws were separate; they were only given unto us. That was to separate us from the other nations. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them, to allow them to continue on as we do. It says, if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of business to bring it into the king's treasury. And the king looked at his ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, the son of Hamantha, whatever, the Agagite, the enemy, the Jews' enemy. See that? So who is our enemy? Let's get some scriptures real quick. All right. Let's get Deuteronomy 28. All right. And all right, this is Deuteronomy. Actually, all these other nations are our enemies, but our arch enemy is Esau. All right. It says Deuteronomy 28:68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way thereof whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. All right. Who was the main one that was doing it? That was Esau, man. That was Esau. Esau's had a perpetual hatred against us ever since the birthright was given unto to Jacob. You know? And so he's had that perpetual hatred against us. But the Lord said, because that he loved his blood so much, blood shall return upon his head. All right. This is Ezekiel 35:2. It says, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Mount Seir is talking about Edom. And say unto it, thus saith the Lord, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. All right, and it says, and I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, who was given the sword, and the time of their calamities, and the time that their iniquity had an end. Right, and so he didn't let up. All right, he didn't let up. So verse 6, it says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. All right, so now let's get the proof that Haman is an Edomite. All right, this is 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 30. All right, so this is, let me paint the picture. So Saul was sent in to invade the Amalekites, right? Amalek, which is the chief house of Esau, and he was told to slay everything. All right, Samuel told Saul to slay everything, but he did not do as instructed, right? All right, so now let's get 1 Samuel chapter 15. Let's see. All right. Let me see where we're gonna start. All right. We might have to start at verse 1. All right. This is let's start at 1. This is 1 Samuel 15:1. It says, Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people and over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord, Yahweh by Shema Shai. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now, because they wouldn't let us pass through. All right, so now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant, suckling, ox, and sheep, camel, and ass. Don't let nothing survive out of it. See that? Hold on. All right, so Saul was given clear instructions to not let anything live. All right, verse 4. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek, and he laid wait in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, go depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For ye showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from the Amalekites. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah unto the coast of Sur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, see that? The Agagite, Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. All right, it says, and Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep of the oxen, right? See that? That's what he wasn't supposed to do that. And of the fatling and the lambs and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them. But everything that was vile and refused, that they destroyed utterly. All right. So then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, and repent me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he had turned back from following me, and hath not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord all night. And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and is gone about and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, blessed be thou of the Lord, I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, what meaneth then this bleating of sheep in mine ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear? And Saul said, they have brought from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord, Yahweh, thy power, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Right? So, but that wasn't what he was instructed to do. Verse 16, it said, then Samuel said unto Saul, stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord has said to me this night. And he said unto him, say on. And Samuel said, when thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel, and the Lord anointed thee king over Israel? And the Lord sent thee on a journey, and said, go and utterly destroy the sinners of the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord? And Saul said unto Samuel, yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought back Agag, the king of the Amalekites, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. Right? It says, but the people took the spoils, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord Yahweh in Gilgal. And Samuel said, the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices, as in obeying the voice of the Lord. He said, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken better than the fat of rams, right? So you wouldn't have to give sacrifice if you wouldn't have sinned. See that? Verse 23, it says, for rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as an iniquity of idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, and he has also rejected thee from being king. Boom. And that's how the kingdom was snatched away from him. All right. So now you have that. So let's skip down to verse all right, verse 32. All right. So now this is where that hatred comes from. 1 Samuel 15:32. Then said Samuel, bring ye hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came unto him delicately and said, surely the bitterness of death is past. Meaning, so he's like, but surely you ain't mad no more, are you? He says, and Samuel said, as thy sword had made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. See that? So Samuel cut him up, finished the job that Saul was supposed to do. All right. So now that hatred goes all the way back from that. Well, it goes before that, but this particular individual, right, hates Israel for that very same purpose. All right. So that's how the Agagites became the Jews' enemy. All right. All right. Esther 3:11, it says, and the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also do with them as it seemed good to thee. Right. So this is what do as y'all will to the children of Israel. It says, then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the month, first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the kings. If I ain't mistaken, that's like a day before the Passover. All right. Unto the king's lieutenants and to the governors that were over every province and to the rulers of every people of every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, in the name of the king Ahasuerus was it written and sealed with the king's ring. All right, that's like a signet that they like. Once that signet is stamped on it, you can't change it. All right, and the letters were sent by post unto the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th. Oh, no, that's the 12th month. All right, so like I thought it was first month. All right, of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, to take the spoil of them for a prey. All right, so basically he wanted to avenge his people by destroying us. All right, it says the copy of writing for a commandment to be given to every province was published unto all people that they should be ready against that day. All right, it says the post went out being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan the palace, and the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed. All right, so now there's a cry in Israel. All right. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes, and went out into the midst of the city, and cried with a loud cry, and a loud and bitter cry, and came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. But he came anyway. All right. We're just gonna see how the Lord do work, man. See, they don't put a decree that can't be changed to destroy all Israelites. Heard that before. Verse 3, it says, and in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting and weeping and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. That was what we did for humbling, put on sackcloth, put ashes on our head. All right, and prayer. That's what mourning, and that's how we used to mourn and call out to the Lord. All right, it says, so Esther's maids and her see See, Xerxes don't know Esther's an Israelite yet. He don't know it because Mordecai charged her not to say nothing. He told her don't tell him. All right, it says so. Esther's maid and her chamberlains came and told it her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiments to clothe Mordecai and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. No, he wanted to stay in mourning. There was no reason for him to rejoice. Then called Esther for Hatak, one of the king's chamberlains, who he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. So Hatak went forth to Mordecai unto the streets of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai told him all that had happened unto him, and the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay the king's treasure for the Jews to destroy them. Also he gave, see that? So now, let's going to get back to her. Also he gave him a copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther and to declare unto her. See, she's going to have a decision to make. And to declare it unto her, to charge her that she should go unto the king to make supplication unto him and to make a request before him for her people. All right. So she's either going to have to stick up and risk the king slaying her, or she's going to have to, ask the decree of the king and use her body as a living sacrifice, all right, to spare the children of Israel, man. It says, and Hatak came and told Esther's words of Mordecai. Again, Esther spake unto Hatak and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's province do know whatsoever, whether man or woman shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called, there is one law of his to put them to death. So can't nobody come on to the king unless they be called. All right. Except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter that he may live. All right. But I have not been called to come unto the king these 30 days. All right. So she ain't been called to go see him. So she can't really walk in there, or she could risk being put to death. And then they told Mordecai Esther's words. And Mordecai commanded to Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. He said, don't sit there and think that if you keep your mouth closed that you're going to be safe, that you ain't going to be destroyed right along with us. Keep that in mind, right? Verse 14, it says, for if thou altogether holds thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise of the Jews from another place. So it don't matter. The Lord gonna find, and you don't do it, the Lord gonna find somebody else to do it. All right. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. But you're gonna be destroyed if he goes someplace else for us to get deliverance. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the king for such a time as this? Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise. And so will I go unto the king, which is not according to the law. If I perish, I perish. She said, you know what? Go ahead and fast, and we're going to fast and pray for these 3 days. And after that, I'm going to go into the king, and whatever happens, happens. All right. It says, so Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. All right. So that's chapter 4. So now we have the plot, Haman's plot against children of Israel. All right. So now, and we know the reason behind the plot, because he was the enemy. He hated us. He had that perpetual hatred that Esau has always had. All right. So let's see. Are we going to go to this? Yeah. So we're going into verse 5. Esther plans a banquet, right? And she's going to appear before the king at this banquet. All right. So we're gonna go into that real quick. All right. Since Esther 5:1, it says, now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house over against the king's house, and the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house over against the gate of the house. And it was so, when the king saw Esther the queen standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. And so Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter, right? So now she was able to come unto him. Then said the king unto her, What wilt thou, Queen Esther, and what is thy request? And it shall be even given thee to the half of the kingdom, right? See that? See that what he offered her? He would give her half the kingdom, whatever she wanted. That's what he just said he was going to give her. All right. So now this is where she has to make a decision, a choice. Is she going to save herself or is she going to save her people? All right. Verse 4, it says, And Esther answered, If it seem good unto thy king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him. So she preparing a banquet for Haman. All right. Our enemy. Then the king said, Cause Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther has said. So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, What is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed. Right? So he said it again. Whatever you want, babe, I got you. That's how he was delighted in her. Then answered Esther and said, My petition and my request is, if I have found favor in thy sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet, and I shall prepare for them, and I will do it tomorrow as the king has said. So she's gonna tell him her request at the banquet. See that? So now Haman's been invited to this banquet, right? So now this is the header on from verse 9 all the way down. It says Haman's pride, right? So now he lifted up, oh yeah, I'm finna kill him and all this kind of stuff, right? Then when Haman forth that day joyful and had a glad heart, but when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai. Right? He ain't moving out the way for you. F you, Esau. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and he came home, and he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife. Right? Now he finna boast and stuff, right? It says, and Haman told them of the glory of his riches and the multitude of his children and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above all the princes and servants of the king. But it don't matter. He's not advanced according to by Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, who trumps all. All right, verse 12, it says, Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared but myself. And tomorrow I am invited unto her also with the king. Right? It says, yet all this availeth me nothing. So as long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting in the king's gate, he's like, he don't mean nothing long. He just want to see Mordecai dead. Then said Zeresh, his wife, and his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak unto the king that Mordecai be hanged therein, then go thou in marry with the king into the banquet, and the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made. So gallows are things that those are the things that they set up to hang us on, right? So he wanted to hang Mordecai on that. All right. But divine intervention. You can't, when they try to cast lots upon us, but you know what Yahweh Shem Shai has the last word. All right. All right. So now Boom, here we go. Let's go to chapter 6. Yeah, let's get chapter 6. It says, on that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the chronicles that they were read before the king. And when it was found that Mordecai had told of Begathana and Teres, two of the king's chamberlains, that the keepers of the door who sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus, and the king said, what honor and dignity had been done to Mordecai for this? Ooh, because he had, all right, so some people were plotting against the king, right? And Mordecai, explained it, what was happening, and saved him, right? And so now Xerxes is asking, well, what gift has he been granted for this good deed that he did unto me? All right. It says, the king said, what honor and dignity had been done to Mordecai for this? Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was come unto the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king, to hang Mordecai on the gallows, that he be prepared for him. He prepared for him. All right. See where this is going? And the king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman standeth in the court. And the king said, let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor? And Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to himself, to myself? Like, he's like, who is he going to honor more than me? Right? It said, Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighted to honor, let the royal apparel be brought, which the king used to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which was set upon his head. All right. This is crazy. All right. And says, all right, verse 9, it says, and let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hands of one of the king's honorable, most noble princes, that they may array the man withal whom the king delighted to honor, and bring him on horseback. See, Haman think he gonna be the one. All right, through the streets of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighted to honor. All right, so I'm gonna pause it right there, and we're gonna go to what's gonna happen next. Because what's gonna happen next, all right, the Lord has turned the tables, right? And I don't want to go into it too much, but you know what I'm saying, we're gonna cut it right there, and because I don't want this to be too long, and then we're gonna do part 3 on Haman must honor Mordecai. All right. With that being said, like Sekah Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Harakah Kodash Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles, great millstone, and my elder heroine as well. Salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth and sincerity and truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.